Hello and welcome to another Royal Reviewer live weekly chat. I'm a little bit later tonight coming on, 4 minutes late. I don't think I've ever been 4 minutes late, and that's because my light is making me look really white tonight, and I can't sort it out. I think it just went back to normal, and now it's not. Okay, if I appear like ghostly white tonight, it's my light and I can't sort it out in time, so I do apologize. Right, I'm now going to go and find the chat window. I did open it before I came on. I just went, aha! I can see Oh Dear, who says, miracles, I am here on time. Hello to everyone. Hello to Steve. Hello to David. Hello to Jennifer from California. Oh Dear saying, I wasn't on time. Maybe it was a kitty kerfuffle. No, it wasn't. It was a technological kerfuffle. Hello to James. Hello to Susan. Hello to H.A. Bracken. Hello to MSMB 2012. Hello to Candice, who has noticed that I'm wearing both of my new royal replica brooches, which is the Duchess of Cambridge with the pearl drop, and the Prince Albert, which I've actually worn as a choker today in the kind of Princess Diana style. Jamie says 2 brooches, maybe they are reflecting the light. So many gems, maybe. And Jamie says the royal standard and brooches, very nice. Hello to Sarah, hello to Dawn, and hello to Chelsea, who says I'm back. Chelsea's not been in for a while, so hello to Chelsea, hope you're okay. Hello to Kathy. Hello to Vasily from La Famille. Hello to Susan, who says she's waiting for her birthday gift. Nina says hello. Hello to SMB 2012. You may call me Mary. Okay, I have to remember that you're Mary. Susan, when you say birthday gift, do you mean because you're a member of Patreon? The birthday cards and Christmas cards go out to patrons who are $10 a month or over. And in fact, actually, there are 2 birthdays. It should have been Thelma's birthday next week, and Carol's birthday was on Friday. And I did post out before the birthday, so hopefully those people have received their birthday card, personalized signed photo and handwritten card from me. Hello to Kimberly. David says, did you watch the prince's story on their mum? Yes, I did. I did indeed watch that documentary. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. Rebecca says, hello, how are you? I'm fine, how are you? Carol says, I enjoyed your new video of your garden. Lovely garden, and Rory's adorable. In case you guys don't know, Carol is talking about my other channel, Elliot Phillips Aspects of My Life. And I posted up a video on there. So do go and check that out. Jamie says, hello Dawn, haven't heard from you in ages. Kind of rolly face. Lots of people saying hello to everyone. I really do love the community feel that we have going on here. Midnight Hazel says, hi there, it's been weeks since I've made it on during live chat. Caroline says, hello from Canada. Hope you're enjoying your lovely brooches. I am, and in fact I'm wearing the one, as I said before, as a choker. Chelsea says, I got sick. I saw a Camilla hater in one of your videos on Camilla. Unfortunately, we can't control the Camilla haters. They're going to be out there. We just have to put up with them, ignore them if you want to ignore them. If you want to respond to them, respond to them. My advice would be intelligently and come at them with facts. Or not at all, just ignore them completely. Everyone has their opinions. MSMB says, just wait until she is queen. She will indeed be. Midnight says, I just found your Aspects of Life channel. And yes, I agree. I think we will be expecting more Camilla bashing in the future. Jamie says, hope you've all had a regal week. Again, it's been another really busy royal week, although not as busy as in previous weeks, because of course the Queen is now on holiday in Balmoral. Carolyn says, I look forward to your postings. You do this so well. Ignore the yellow press. I do try my best. Midnight Hazel says, lots and lots of baubles you're wearing. I am indeed tonight. Okay. Back to the chat window. Jamie says, Rory was hilarious. Just that little face and waving the paw. Like, keep rubbing me. Yes, but then when I do keep rubbing his tummy, my cat I'm talking about, for those of you who don't know, he then tries to, what I call, back scuttle with his feet. You know how cats, when they get a ball and they get their back paws and they go, he tries to do that to me. He entices me in and then gets me. He's naughty. MSMB says, I'm feeling more regal by the minute. So sorry, Mary. I've got to stop calling you MSMB. Mary. Jennifer Hicks says, first time live. Well, welcome. Welcome to you, Jennifer. H.A. Bracken says, I looked at the website that you bought the brooches and the Duchess of Cambridge brooch was sold out. I think I had the last one. So I remember looking that when I was immediately after I bought it, it had gone sold out. So I think I did actually have the last one. Now, in terms of this bright face, I'm quite aware that my face is really white tonight. I'm going to try moving further back and seeing if that helps. And also, sometimes, if I cover up the camera for just a second, it refocuses. So I'm not going anywhere. I'm just trying to refocus. Okay, am I still really, really white? Let's try that again. Any better? No, probably not. I think we're going to have to put up with a big white Elliot face all night tonight. In fact, it's, oh, I can make a royal connection. It's very Elizabeth I with the big white makeup. I think Elizabeth I would approve. What do you think? Oh dear says, Camilla provides us with lots of interesting things. If it wasn't for Camilla, there would be no Tracy Ullman. Camilla comedy spoofs. I love Camilla. That's true, there would be no Tracy Ullmans. David Penner says, did Prince William finish up work? Yes, that was one of the big stories of the week, is that it was his last day as an air ambulance rescue pilot for the East Anglia air ambulance. And he looked really sad. On the footage and the photographs that I saw floating around on the net, he looked quite sad to be finishing. However, he's doing something meaningful. As we know, in September, he's moving back to London pretty much full-time. They're not giving up Anmer Hall, their Norfolk home. They'll probably use that more as a weekend retreat and school holiday retreat. But he's moving back to London, which coincides perfectly with Prince George starting school. And he'll be taking up full-time royal duties. Now, I know what my idea of full-time royal duties are. Pretty much like what Princess Anne does, Prince Charles does, what Princess Diana did when she was alive. Those are kind of full-time royal duties, what the Queen does. So I'm wondering how much full-time he'll be doing. So that still remains to be seen. And I will comment on that probably, October, November, when he's had time to settle in a little bit more to his full-time royal role. Not that I'm skeptical. He may very well pick up a lot of the Queen's slack, but we will wait and see. Dragonfly in Amber says, hello, I really enjoy your live chats. Thank you very much. And I really enjoy having you all come and watch me on my live chats. Carolyn says, Elliot, there was to be an announcement in June about Victoria's tiara. Was there anything in the British press? That's the tiara that I reported on in an earlier video last year, or this year. I can't remember when it was. It may have been this year, or late last year, in fact. But whatever, it was put up for auction, and then I think it was blocked. I think there was some kind of temporary ban imposed by the government, some kind of artifacts law kicked in, which meant that it couldn't be put up for auction and sold abroad. But other than that, I haven't heard anything. I know the ban was temporary. I think it was up to 12 months. So I don't think it's quite been 12 months yet. So when I do hear more, I will let you know. Of course I will. Just like I reported last year that Diana's memorial gravesite, her island called the Oval, was in disrepair. As soon as I knew that it wasn't, and I got proof of that, I posted a video saying how it had been all done up, and it was all nice and new and fresh, and they've had new plants planted on the edge, and they've thinned out the trees and thinned out the bushes and cleaned up the stonework. Jamie says the royal standard is the right way around this week. It is. It wasn't upside down the other week. It was literally just back to front, but never mind. Jamie says it's probably because you're wearing a black shirt and the contrast is too much. Possibly. It could be. Very washed out. Yes, I can't do anything about being washed out. It's driving me insane. Shall I try and just pop and put a jacket on and see if it affects the brightness? I will be back in just a second. Do not go anywhere. Okay, I'm back. Right, with jacket on. Now, let's see if I cover up. Actually, I'm going to turn the light off and see if it makes a difference. Okay, gone dark. And we're back on. Okay. I'm still really washed out. That's not good at all, is it? That's so not good. Okay. No, I don't know what it is. I'm just really washed out today. I have no idea what it is. Right, let me find the chat window again. I'm not going to mess around with it anymore. Let's just hope that for next week it's all kind of fixed. Okay. Steve says, have you heard the story about Charles becoming regent when the Queen reaches 95? Yes, I've heard it, but still, the thing about the regency is, for those of you who don't know, and I'm sure a lot of you do, there is a thing called a regency council, and quite a few people sit on the regency council, and there are lots of precedents and rules in place which basically tell you when a regency can be evoked. One of the criteria is that the monarch is absent. So in the early days, when Her Majesty the Queen used to go off on long haul travel for 6 months at a time, or back in Tudor times when the monarchs used to go off to war, they would appoint a regent just while they're absent, so kind of like a temporary regent. In the case of our present Queen, Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, was regent when she was absent overseas. So that's one criteria, is that you have to be absent. Another criteria is that you're physically able to do the job, so you're of sound body. And of course, the Queen is of sound body. Yes, she's getting older. Yes, she's had to make concessions due to her age, but it's nothing that stops her from fulfilling her role. So she's not absent, she's of sound body, and the third one is of sound mind. And as far as I'm aware, the Queen hasn't lost her marbles. She is of sound mind. So she hasn't met any of the three criteria that would evoke a regency. So we're kind of in uncharted waters. She's the longest reigning monarch, the oldest lived monarch. There are no precedents. One would have to be created for her. So if Charles was to become Prince Regent, it would have to be passed by Parliament. And as I said, there is no precedent for it. So I'm leaning towards the thoughts that no, it won't happen. Unless they create something new. And one thing that I did think about, which would kind of get them out of the sticky problem that they put themselves in anyway, was that when Charles married Camilla, they did announce the intention that she would be known as Princess Consort, which, as I've said many, many times, is something that won't happen because Princess Consort doesn't exist in our laws. The laws would have to be changed, and they haven't. They haven't been changed. So, if Charles was to be made co-monarch with his mother, in other words, he's crowned whilst his mother is still alive, and they become co-monarch, Camilla could be known as the Princess Consort until the Queen dies, in which case then she would be known as Queen. Sounds a bit far-fetched, maybe, but it is one solution, one rule that could be created that would also get them out of the sticky problem. Who knows? But no, I don't think he'll be made regent when she's 95, unless she meets any of the criteria that I've just spoke about, and I hope that helps. David Penner says, describe the parties in Parliament. Are they similar to US? We have Republicans and Democrats. What type of parties in the UK? No, they are very different. I mean, our governments are completely different, really. And there is a likeness, I suppose. I think, if I remember correctly, Republicans are a bit like our Conservatives, unless I've got this the wrong way around, and Democrats are more like our Labour Party. So the Democrats are more socialist, I think I'm right in saying, and Republicans are more conservative. But other than that, the way that we govern ourselves are kind of very, very, very different. Odia says, your face went into normal lighting when you moved back for a few seconds. Try moving back about 6 inches. Okay. There. Can you still see? Okay, I can't hardly read the screen. Okay. Am I kind of, let me duck and see if it'll. Okay. I think I'm just gonna have to put up with moon face tonight. I definitely have a big case of moon face. Okay, I'm gonna move back because I can't actually read the screen even. I have no idea why it's so bright. So I'm sorry, but you will have to put up with a big moon face. Steve says, approaching 14,000 subscribers. The channel is really growing. Yes, it is. And it seems to be picking up in the last few months as well, which is really amazing. So thank you to everyone. A really big, heartfelt, sincere thank you to everyone who watches my videos, who gives me a thumbs up when you like it, who shares on social media. It really does help. And thank you for subscribing and viewing. It really does mean a lot to me. A year ago, I didn't think it would ever be like this. Although, you know, in terms of YouTube, I'm still considered very, very, very small. But we're growing, so thank you very much. Angel says hi. Hello to Angel. Annette says, hello everyone. Very striking new brooches. So sorry, can't stay. Have to make dinner. Having Chinese tonight. Have to go and stir fry. And you're making teriyaki noodles. So goodbye to Annette. I hope you enjoy your Chinese. Okay, now I think I've just gone and missed loads and loads and loads of chat. So I'm going to go back up. Okay. Jamie Green saying, not long since we were talking about 6,000 scrubs. Subs, not scrubs. I thought I was back in TLC days then. No scrubs, no subs. Midnight Hazel says, why would they want to sell a tiara? It's not the royal family. Unfortunately, that tiara slipped out of the family through inheritance. So it's not actually part of the royal collection, even though it was once owned by Queen Victoria. So the family, or whoever they sold it to, can legally sell it, but because it's deemed as an artifact or, you know, a British history relic, I suppose, there's questions over whether it can be sold out of the country. Ideally, the Royal Collection would probably buy it back, but for £5 million, that's a lot of money, and it would take a lot of justification for them to buy and purchase that back into the collection. But I really hope that it does. Odia says, I popped into your lifestyle channel and must say the garden you designed is just lovely. Kudos on a wonderful design. Thank you very much. And I hope you enjoy that channel too. David says, I'm addicted to watching Parliament sessions. I can't talk tonight. Parliament sessions here in the States. Why do they interrupt the Prime Minister? Do you mean all the calling out? Yes, it's a bit of a tradition that, you know, our Houses of Parliament are very noisy. They don't necessarily sit and listen. They cheer and jeer and shout out, and it's always been that way. That's why our Houses of Parliament are kind of designed so that you've got the benches going up that way, benches going up that way, and they're facing each other. And it kind of encourages that lively debate. And it is all about the debate, and that's why we have a speaker who tries to control it all. It is kind of, I can describe it as organized chaos, but it works for us. And you know, here we are, one of the oldest democratic societies going. Mary says, try holding the whiteboard up in front of your face where you're sitting and not too close to the lens. Okay, do you mean like this? It's my diet, it's my new notebook. I usually have bits of paper, but I'm okay. Any better? I can't see. No, it's still white. I don't know how to get rid of the white. It's not normally white, so I don't really know why. Let me try leaning back. Okay, I'm going to try something here. Oh. Maybe if I just try. No, it's no good. I'm just trying moving it around to see. No, I think we're going to have to put up with big old moon face. Okay, can you all see me? As long as you can see me, that's fine. There we go. You're going to have to put up with moon face. I'm sorry, I can't sort it out in the time I've got. Let's go down. Angel says, hi, how are you doing today? It's hot outside. It's been quite hot today. I mean, I made my garden video today and it was quite sunny. I had to wear my sunglasses. Everyone says better, but it's a little ghostly. Jamie says, but the jacket is black too. Why don't you get something bright coloured? I normally wear this jacket and there's not normally a problem. So I don't really know why I don't know why there's a problem tonight. I have no idea. Would it help maybe if I turned my actual ceiling lights on? Shall I try turning on the ceiling lights? Hang on. Okay, I'm going to have to go rooting under the flag now to try on my ceiling lights. So, okay, is that any better? No, probably not. Maybe if I turn that off and just leave the ceiling lights on. Okay, now this is why I have a light, because if I just use my ceiling lights, look, it's absolutely appalling. So I think I'd rather be a moon face. There we go. I think I'd rather be a moon face, I'm afraid. Right, nothing is going to work tonight. I will be a moon face. In fact, I think I'm going to name this video Moon Face. Royal Reviewer Moon Face. Carolyn says, someone I guess was broke, so why the Lascelles would it? Why would it in the first place is beyond me. However, I think someone should buy it and Prince Harry have it for his bride. I think it would look lovely with Catherine's sapphire collection, in my own personal opinion. But yes, it would be really good for Harry to have. Jamie says, do you have your tea? Yes, I do. And in fact, I think I'm going to have some now. All this moon face business. Chelsea says, I started watching The Crown. The Queen Mother seems like another word for witch. No, she's not a witch. I love the Queen Mother. She was a tremendous big support to the nation in the war. In fact, Hitler described her as the most dangerous woman in Europe because she posed a big threat to him, because she boosted morale back in the UK. And without her there to bolster morale back in the UK, spirits would have been so low that we may not have gotten through the Blitz and all the bombings. So no, definitely not a witch. She may have been, yeah, I agree. In The Crown, she probably doesn't come over as being as warm, but in real life, definitely not a witch. Okay. Jamie says, is the monarchy is away or incapacitated? Oh, it doesn't make that much of a difference if the monarchy is away or incapacitated. But they're not. They aren't incapacitated or away at the moment. And MSNB says, I hope she's able to stay on the throne for as long as possible. Me too. Susan says, I'm so happy that Prince William and family visited Germany. Yes, it was a fantastic trip and enjoyed by all. Angel says, I like to drink sweet tea with ice. It's good for your body. I'll have to try that one. I do like iced tea, if that's what you're talking about. I do enjoy that, with lemon in. David says, Prince Harry and Prince William resemble their mum. I'm going out and meeting charities. But by going out and meeting charities and various personnel, their mum is looking down and watching at them as they go about their daily lives. I agree. Lisa says, Susan, I love seeing the children were acting like children. Mary says, and why would they say we call Camilla Princess Consort if they have no intention? Basically, you've hit the word on the head, intention. On the official website, it says that they intend. It's the intention to call her that. Intention is not a commitment. Intention can be changed. You don't have to uphold an intention. Things can change. And I think what they're hinging the intention on is that the laws haven't been changed. It'll come to it without the laws being changed, and they'll just go, oops, the laws weren't changed, therefore she's queen. We can't meet the intention. Da-da. You know, it's that kind of thing. So you hit the word on the head, it's intention. An intention is not a commitment. So unless they change the law before the Queen dies, she will be Queen Camilla, whether anyone likes it or not. Deborah says, wow, you know so much. I love learning from you since I'm American and don't know much about this. Okay, Jamie says, playing peekaboo. I think I was playing peekaboo for a while then. Mary says, oh, I think I've just skipped a load now. Go back up. I've skipped loads. Where's it all gone? Okay, where was I? Mary says, we love you for your brain and brooches. The lighting is no problem. Thank you very much. Okay, now I've found it all again. So they haven't YouTube changed the chat window about 4 weeks ago, and it used to be really, really big, and I could see it really clearly, and they made it just this little pop-out screen that only stays about that size on my computer, so I'm having to really struggle, and it doesn't fit all the questions in, so it keeps skipping, so I have to try and find the questions. Okay. Carolyn says, lost you for a moment. The lady who commented on the crown said, dear Queen Mother could hold a grudge. Yes, she could hold a grudge, but I wouldn't call her a witch. Kimberly says, Democrats have a confusing history. They have a long history with the KKK. I neither confirm nor deny. And now they are liberal, socialism and communism. And that's from Kimberly. Steve says, why does someone dislike this chat? Everyone please like, yes, give me a big thumbs up. Maybe it's the moon face. Maybe someone doesn't like my big moon face. James Med says, I did like the POW escorting, the Prince of Wales escorting the Queen at the opening of Parliament. A little surprised to see him sit in the Duke of Edinburgh's place, but I got used to it and think it's correct. Well, he was her escort, and he was the next senior member, so I can't really see why he couldn't. Emerson B says that is a misrepresentation of the Democratic Party in the US. Not knowing too much about it, I can't comment. David Penner says, why does Jeremy Corbyn yell at Theresa May in Parliament? Well, he yells at everyone that doesn't agree with his own socialist views. Say no more. Dawn says, you have to put your Cambridge brooch on your jacket now. Well, in fact, seeing as it's made no difference to the moon face, I may as well just take the jacket off entirely. I don't think it's made any difference whatsoever. So there we go. Okay, straighten up again. Okay, going down. Caroline says, I'm sure you know this, Elliot. It was gifted to Princess Mary when she became Countess of Harewood. Someone in the family sold it, and again, I hope it is bought for Prince Harry. Yes, it was inherited down the female line and sold out of the family. So they must have needed the money to pay for the inheritance and death duties, I imagine. Goodbye to Susan, who's had to leave. David says, Elliot, are you aware that Dame Judi Dench is coming out with a movie on Queen Victoria? Yes, and it does look very good. And she's played previous queens before. I do believe she played Queen Elizabeth I, and she did a fabulous job then. And I hope she'll do a really good job now. I'm sure she will. Oh dear says, the parliamentary system is very interesting. It's the same system here in Canada and works extremely well, unlike the US system. Can't quite comment on that one, although seeing what's going on in the media so far. Midnight Hazel says, I've never seen grow bags. You've given me a great idea how to solve my growing space. I live in the US and maybe we don't have them here. You're talking about my other channel, of course, for those of you who don't know what you're talking about. There certainly aren't grow bags on this channel. But yes, grow bags are really popular in the UK, and it means that anyone who doesn't have some ground to dig in, or if you have your greenhouse put on slabs, you can use the soil from a grow bag. Nadia Maria says, can you tell me please about the flag behind you and what is the meaning of the colours? It is the royal standard, so it's the it's just the royal standard. What can I say? And the colours are blue and red and kind of yellowy gold. And of course, it's the 3 lions of England and Scotland and Ireland and Wales. Jamie says, maybe you can go into the sitting room and close the door. That would sort out the moon face, it would indeed. Angel says, USA say that Queen Elizabeth and Kate Middleton's further child. No, if you're talking about is she pregnant, no, there's been no confirmation in the UK about any pregnancies. Usually she gets sick with morning sickness very, very early into the pregnancy, around about 3 weeks. So we usually get to find out about it very early in her case. And there's been no news yet. HW says, hello Elliot, I saw your garden video earlier today and was very impressed. Did you do all the stone and gravel work in your garden? Also, was it great to see Rory? How did he come into your life? Well, I did reply to your question in the comment section on that video, and I did say that it was me and my mother. We designed it, and we had people come in to execute it. I'm not exactly a groundsman myself, and I'm going to make a further video about how Rory came into mine and my partner's life, because it was quite a sad story, really. So I will let you all know about that. Leilani says, watching from the US, I love your videos. The last time a regency was considered was during the early 1800s, around Queen Victoria's time. A regent may also be appointed if the monarch is too young. As I said, there have been temporary regencies when the monarch has been absent, more notably in Queen Elizabeth's time, but not recently, and certainly with the development of communication, it's not been needed, basically. So unless she meets the 3 criteria that I said before, there will not be a regency unless there's a new precedent set. David said Paul McCartney came to Chicago this week, and does he still live in London or Liverpool? I think he has homes everywhere, but he certainly does have a home in London. I don't know that much about Liverpool. Jamie is laughing and saying I should call it mooning with my big moon face. I should indeed. Lisa Young says, Elliot, you are too funny, cute, you're fine. Thank you very much. I wouldn't quite go that far, but thank you. Kimberly says, I sure enjoyed the name you gave last week's quiz. By the way, has the Queen knighted you into the royal house of the pregnant beavers? Don't get me started on those beavers. I'm banning beavers from this live chat today because they really cracked me up. If you didn't see the video, go and check out my quiz from last week and look out for the pregnant beavers. Claudia says, really liking your channel. Thank you. No, thank you for watching. I couldn't do it without you guys. Mary says, I admire the Queen Mother and what she did for the UK during the war, and for the King, because of course she was a great support to His Majesty King George VI. Odia says Queen Mother was fantastic, and yes, it is an American production. We're talking about The Crown, the TV series. Kimberly says, or is the royal house of the pregnant killer beavers? Well, hopefully no killer beavers. They wouldn't have me in stitches, they'd have me in floods of fear. Okay, I've just missed a big load. Of questions. Okay, Jamie says, I can't comment on what I think of the Queen Mother because I wouldn't know. Odia says, I think Prince Harry takes after the Spencer side, particularly Diana's brother Charles when he was young. He does, but I also think he looks like Prince Philip. Angel says, good afternoon from Oregon. James says, Hitler knew the British loyalty to their late majesties was a free will and love. Yes, which was definitely against his philosophy. And he certainly feared the Queen Mother. Okay. Kimberly says, anyone here like the TV series Poldark? Some people asked me about Poldark, and I've never actually watched it, so I can't comment on Poldark. Mary says, Elliot, can you explain to us non-UKers when was the last regency? I do believe that the early commenter was right. It was probably in the 1800s, I do believe. I think one was considered for Queen Victoria, but it didn't really go through. And then in regency, in terms of short-term regency, was when Queen Elizabeth II, our present Queen, was absent for her early in the reign overseas visits, and the Queen Mother was classed as regent for that period. HW says, Elliot, the Cambridge brooch is my favourite. Also, your haircut looks wonderful. You do not have a moon face. Don't let inappropriate comments affect you. Thank you. Yes, I have had a haircut for those of you who want to see. I think I've just missed a load of comments again. I really hate this new chat window. It's awful. Okay. David says, what is the true story about both princes walking behind their mum's coffin? I saw a comment on a video saying Prince William was against it. Basically, Harry has revealed that it really affected him and that he didn't want to at the time. But then Earl Spencer, Diana's brother, has come out and said that at the time he questioned whether they should walk behind the coffin, and Buckingham Palace told him that the princes wanted to do it. Now, of course, that's not what Harry was saying. Harry was saying that they didn't want to, or at least he didn't want to, because it was too traumatic. And of course, you can understand why it was so traumatic. So that's basically where all that's come from. Sort of one camp saying one thing and another camp saying another. Odia says, oh yes, last week's quiz was a hoot. I loved it. But being Canadian and did not know the answer to the beaver question. Yes, you got the beaver question wrong. Jamie says, on the flag in the background are the animals pregnant beavers? No, I am not having a pregnant beaver royal standard. James Medford says, I heard the Queen adopted another dog from a member of staff who passed away. Yes, that's true. And she was kind of winding down her dog stock, her corgi stock and dorgie stock, which is Dachshund and Corgi cross. She was kind of letting them, not replacing them when they died, basically. But of course, the ones that she adopted from a member of staff who died were descendants of some of her corgis, and I think she couldn't see them chucked out, so she basically took them in, and they're now her dogs, and her dog numbers have gone up slightly. Carolyn says, had to go, Elliot, soon. Have a great Sunday. Love to see what others have to say. I was under the understanding the Crown was made by ITV, so who is making it? I think it was ITV, I do believe. But I think it had some American influence. Seven Bridges Road says, I will suggest a new answer if you choose try no comment. MSMB 2012 says, what does the Regency period refer to then? It was the period when there was a Regency. That's basically it. It was a period when there was a Regency. Oh, by the way, for those of you guys who are into social media and don't know, I also have Royal Reviewer on Twitter. So you can find me on there. I'm also on Facebook as well. And I'm on Patreon and Instagram. Oh yes, don't forget I'm on Instagram too. So you can check me out, and I am involved in all those forms of social media, different forms of communication. I put different things on each. On Patreon, if you become a patron, you get really exclusive things. But yes, Jamie is right. The Crown was completely funded by Netflix. Okay, I've just Googled the exact date of the Regency, seeing as a lot of you really seem to want to know. The Regency in Great Britain was a period when King George III was deemed unfit to rule, and his son ruled as his proxy, as Prince Regent. On the death of George III in 1820, so I was right, it was the 1800s, the Prince Regent became George IV. and that was the official last long-term regency period, other than obviously a monarch going absent for just a slight, for sort of 6 months or so. James says, what pieces of jewellery are left for Harry's bride in the future from Diana's collection? Also, I remember the London police could not guarantee the Prince of Wales' safety if he walked behind the coffin without his sons. That was rumoured too, but I don't know how true that is in terms of if it was said or that's why they were made to do it. So I can't really comment on if that was a real reason. In terms of what jewels are left, we haven't seen Catherine wearing the choker, the pearl choker. So perhaps that's still left. And there was also some Saudi suites of jewels which could also be left. Deborah's a huge Poldark fan. Odia says, yes, that is right. The Crown was a Netflix and US production, therefore an American drama. I thought it was ITV. Well, there you go. It was American. And Dawn says, is that a different Diana special? There is another one coming up about her tapes. The tapes which have been aired for years and you can find on YouTube anyway. But there is a new documentary about her life in her own words from the special recorded tapes. And they will be, they are being made into a programme to be released soon in the UK. And it'll be the first time they've been aired in the UK. Okay, Kimberly says, love the actors and actresses in Poldark. I've never seen it, so I can't comment. Carolyn says, take care, and thanks to all for sharing your information. And Queen Elizabeth is a hoot. I know. Karen says, I've recently been watching a lot of Diana's info, but I'm wondering, as the boys were praising how loving she was, how they were really living with their dad and visits with the Queen. Yes, they used to spend time flitting between, obviously, separated families, between the mother and father. And at the time of Diana's death, they were with their dad at Balmoral playing with their cousins. Jamie says, I feel sorry for His Majesty King George III in his last days. He was blind and feeble with a long beard and died alone in Windsor Castle. Yes, so that's one of the conditions for having a regency, is that he was incapacitated and not of sound mind. So basically he met 2 of the criteria. Okay, so I think I finally got to the bottom of the comments. I got behind quite a bit, probably for too much trying to sort out the moon phase. So I hope you all saw, I'm going to refer to my notes now, the video I made about the Queen's life in banknotes. That was quite good and quite interesting, so do go and check that out. The Queen is currently up in Balmoral in Scotland for her summer break, so she'll be spending the summer up there. It's not known yet if Prince Philip is up there with her, although I don't think so because he hasn't carried out his last official engagement yet. So I think as soon as he's finished his last official engagement, he will go up to Balmoral to be with the Queen. It's been a slow news day today, so I found a really wonderful video on the Spanish Armada paintings. So if you're into Tudor history and Queen Elizabeth I, and you want to know a little bit more about the Spanish Armada, and particularly the paintings or the tapestries that were lost that have now been recreated in painting to hang in the Houses of Parliament. So do go and check that one out. I'm just going to say 2 words and see what the response is. Arthur Chatto. Arthur Chatto. Do let the comments come. HW says, Elliot, I forgot to mention how wonderful your tomatoes looked in your greenhouse. Viewing your garden is such a nice treat. You've done a great job. Thank you very much. And they do taste lovely. They taste really sweet and delicious. I like the small varieties the best. Jamie says, Charles, William and Harry in the plane back from Balmoral after Diana's death was the only time two heir apparents were ever allowed to travel on the same plane with special permission from Her Majesty. Yes, but that has been relaxed now because obviously William and George do share a plane fairly regularly. Okay, I'm just trying to go through some questions. Deborah says, in reference to Arthur Chateau, he is hot. My gosh. Well, he certainly grew up. It wasn't long ago, it seemed, that he was at the 2012 Jubilee being a page boy for the Queen. And then he suddenly just kind of grew, is all I can say. Oh dear says, Arthur is a hunk for sure, but obviously a little immature for having posting the photos of himself. Yes, he did post pictures of himself in his underwear on Instagram, and of course that got out and everyone's seen. And if anyone was wondering what the weird mark was on his chest, I zoomed in on the original that I had, and it looked like a plaster to me. So if you're wondering, it was some kind of plaster. Nina says, I like the video of Arthur all grown up. Becky says, I see so much of Diana in Harry. I think we all do, especially his nature. Elton John said that Diana had the ability to light up a room, make everyone feel special and loved. And he told Harry that he had that same quality too. Dawn Moore says, if Margaret's grandchildren had titles, Sarah's children, what would they be? They don't. Is the correct answer. They don't have titles, and they are not entitled to have titles, which is why they don't. Jamie says, but back then, if all three died, the line would be cut. That particular line, yes, and then it would go back up the family tree and go across and find the next line down. HW says, Elliot, I did do the Arthur Chateau video. If I were his mother, I would slap him on the side of the head. Showing himself in his royal underwear is not appreciated. What was he thinking? And they were actually Calvin Klein's. Karen Dixon says, that's my fault, immature. Candice says, what did you think of the photos of Arthur Chateau? I was just really surprised that he was like really small and a child 1 minute, then the next he's just a fully grown young man, and wow, you know, he certainly looks grown. James says, if he's not on the civil list, then he can do what others do. Indeed he can. He can post pictures if he wants. Deborah says it was a what on his chest. Well, if you look at the photograph in the video, you can see a little mark on his chest. And when I zoomed in, it looked like a plaster. So a band-aid, as you say in America, a band-aid. Phoebe D says, Elliot, do you have any pictures or videos of Princess Diana's mother, Frances? I haven't done a video, although I think I did feature her in a video once. But I haven't made a video about her now. But maybe I could in the future. Becky says, what do I think about William leaving his job? Personally, I think it's about time. I think he needs to go and support the Queen. She certainly needs it now. Okay. Angel says, and I'm going to read this because I think it's kind of important. She's put in earlier comments that she has limited sight or is blind and can't see. And Angel carries on saying, I don't have any friends at all. Please talk to me. And of course, you know, we're very welcoming in this community, I like to think. And of course, I'm sure you'll find lots of people here who will chat to you and will be friends with you, I'm sure. So I hope you feel very welcome here. And that's one of the reasons why I read out all the questions as well, is so that people that are harder, that have a visual impairment, can listen. You can kind of, you don't have to see me, you can just listen and kind of treat it a bit like, what do they call it? A podcast. Treat it a little bit like a podcast, which is quite good. So that's why I do read out all of the comments that I'm commenting to. Jamie says, let's just say, thank God he's 22nd in line to the throne. Yes, because we almost saw the crown jewels, didn't we? We definitely almost saw them. Chelsea says, I can't believe George is close to 5. I know, hasn't time flown? I know Dear is speculating that maybe he's on steroids. Well, he certainly goes to the gym, and he's involved with cadets or something to do with the army and the armed forces. So I think he does a lot of training too. James says, I hope William will accompany the Queen soon. Becky says, George just turned 4 on July the 22nd. He did indeed. So he's not 5, obviously, but next year he'll be 5. And that's just, hasn't time flown. It really does make you think about life and how you should seize the day. Oh dear says, William, you feel is a reluctant royal, and Harry seems to fit the role better. And Dawn, I think we will see William accompanying the Queen a lot more too. Seven Bridges Road says, no, we're different monarchy and older monarchy. I found this little guy on YouTube, he's pretty interesting. Kimberly says, Britney Spears claims Prince William isn't human. What? Really? Okay. This coming from the girl who shaved her head and bashed a car with an umbrella. Yeah. Karen says, I see you put the blue brooch on a choker. It looks beautiful. Yes, I did. I kind of thought how it would look. It's actually my bow tie turned backwards because I didn't have a ribbon. It didn't look right on my red ribbon. So yeah, it's my bow tie backwards, basically. Nina says, what's going on with Harry and Meghan? We don't see her anymore. They've gone quiet again. The last I heard, she was filming for her final bits in Suits, but she has done a lot of flitting between Canada and the UK. So at the moment, I don't exactly know where she is. Candice says, what was your feeling on the Diana special? Basically, I did think it was very sugar-coated. It was very controlled. The princes knew what they wanted to put out there. I wasn't entirely happy with Earl Spencer and his involvement on it. Yes, he was her sister and has a right to talk about her, but it didn't seem right the way that he was kind of, in a way, preaching a little bit about her when we all know how he treated her in the last couple of years before her death. So I didn't think that was quite right, but I did enjoy it. It did do what the princes want. It informed a new generation who have grown up not in a world with Princess Diana, and it told them about the work and the importance that she did and what she meant to them as a mother, and to other people who she supported in her public role. So on the whole, I did like it. Jamie says, oh, hang on, I've just missed it again. Okay. Jamie says, there's one lady in waiting that reminds me of that boring old lady who runs a charity shop in keeping up appearances. That's why I'm happy to see William beside the Queen other than her. Yes, Mrs. Councillor Nugent, I think that is. Nadia says, I think the flag was brought by King Arthur and his knights may have their origins in Samaritan heavy cavalrymen stationed in Britain. It's very likely. The Draco flag had the same colours. I'm not a big flag expert, so I couldn't quite tell you. But I'm certainly interested in looking at what the Draco flag is. Kimberly says, you're like me, Britney Spears is nuts. Yeah. Okay. Dawn says, what are the Yorks doing lately? Have not seen hide nor hair of them. Keeping a low profile after the party fiasco. No, if you go on Twitter, Sarah Ferguson has a Twitter page and they're very much active and doing engagements. So no, definitely not keeping a low key. Deborah says, was there any pictures of George's birthday? There was official pictures released, but not of his actual birthday. And yes, I did make a video about those, but I couldn't make a video of any party he had because I wasn't invited. And there were no, that was kept very personal and private. James says, okay, this is quite a pertinent question. Elliot, any update on your London holiday? Well, basically, I'm not going anymore. And there's a few reasons as to why. The main reason is that when I tried to, well, I left it quite late to book. And I was right, there were loads of accommodation. I could find accommodation. Then when it came down to looking for online tickets to buy Buckingham Palace, Kensington Palace, they were all booked out on the days that I wanted to go. So basically, myself and my partner kind of called it off because it was going to be quite pricey to go down there and to not get a guarantee that I could film the things that I actually wanted to anyway, coupled with the fact that it's both of our birthdays this month, which are, you know, that's more expense, and we've had things done to the house. So it would have costed more than maybe £1,000 to go to London, accommodation, do all the tourist things, and no guarantee of actually going into Buckingham Palace or Kensington Palace, which is the two main things I really wanted to do, and then basically have no money left for the whole month. So we decided it was the best thing to not do it this year and book ahead and plan for next year. Or in fact, if I can get away maybe at Easter to maybe go somewhere, then yes, we can't do the palace tours because the palace isn't open at Easter, but certainly in the summer I could do that. So I'm afraid my trip is no more. Oh dear says, hi Angel, I'm making a permanent move to Vancouver, not far. And do you follow the royals closely? There you go, Angel, you've found some people to speak to. I knew you would. Dawn says, I agree about Earl Spencer. And oh dear says, what party fiasco were the Yorks involved with? It was the one where they let Harper Beckham, Victoria and David Beckham's daughter have a party in their private apartments in Buckingham Palace, and the media went nuts. Jamie says he's getting the guided tour of Buckingham Palace Gardens too. Yes, that's what I wanted to do as well. Seven Brooches says Arthur does as he chooses. David says Arthur Chateau, who is he? Go and watch my video that I made on it. It's only a few videos back. He's Princess Margaret's, the late Princess Margaret's grandson, daughter of Lady Sarah and Daniel Chateau. Ingrid says, hello Elliot, I love you. You are the best royal reviewer. Thank you so much. I love you too, and welcome to live chat. Becky says, what are the best months of weather in the UK for a trip? Well, I would say summer, but we still get rain in summer. Just come whenever. The weather is just British weather. You get rain any month of the year. But the best guarantee of weather is probably the summer, and sometimes Easter as well. We've had a lot of good weather over our Easter holidays, actually. HW says, Elliot, is Ludlow Castle in Shropshire? It is. It is indeed. Oh dear says, sorry about your cancelled vacation. When we go from Canada, it has to be booked a year in advance. Full time is good, not so busy. Okay, I'm just going to scroll down a bit more. Okay, sorry if I've missed your question. As I said, the window is very small, and sometimes I do find it quite hard to see it, especially with the light in my eyes. So, going through my list again. Charles and Camilla attended the Sandringham Flower Show, which is an annual event. I covered the event last year, and I was really pleased to be able to cover it again this year. It was raining. They did arrive and depart by carriage, so do check out that video. Diana's Island has been renovated, which I think I spoke about earlier, and Earl Spencer also mentioned this week what the Queen thought about his eulogy, and basically it was a, well, you're her brother, you can say what you want, and you're entitled to do so. So that was the Queen's opinion on his eulogy. There was also a little bit of a buzz this week about William and Catherine coordinating their outfits. So basically, you know, if she wears a red dress, that he's got, you know, a similar matching tie, or if she's wearing a blue dress, he's wearing a bluish tie, or that their outfits kind of coordinate. And if you look, you know, on most of the outfits, they have started doing this. I thought that was quite an interesting one to talk about. And there's also been a lot of new Princess Diana photographs released, which I've made a video of. And there's going to be a whole series released for the next couple of weeks. And the ones that are out this week, which I made a video of, are of her in her earlier part of life, so childhood and up to meeting Charles. So do go and check those out. Ingrid says, I love the way you say hello, just so adorable. I went to the uni at St Andrews too. Of course, where William and Catherine went too. Okay, where am I? Seven Bridges Road said your Camilla is a little bit more blonde, and her hair looks tremendous. And she has been looking really fabulous in recent weeks and months, in fact. Okay, now I'm going to leave it here for this week. I think I'm going to be on next week. Next week was going to be a show that I'd missed because I was going to be away. But now that I'm not going away, I think I can make next week. If I can't, for whatever reason, or if my plans change at the last minute, as plans sometimes can, then I will let you all know on Patreon, on Twitter, and on Facebook. in my different Facebook groups for Royal Reviewer. So if you go on there, I will let you know all the details about when I'm on, but provisionally I will be here for next week. So from me in Shropshire, goodbye.